Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bitter Third podcast. Good morning and hello. How are you? We're the Bitter Third podcast. We're tired today. I'm Matt. I'm joined by Taryn and Brandon. Brandon and Taryn, you guys are awesome. We don't have Max today. How are you guys? Tell the people. Give the people what they want.
I'm pretty tired. It's all good.
You're just all right. We stayed up late last night.
We did. We
woke up.
We went to the moon.
Woke up early. We went to the moon. One of us went to the moon.
One of us went to the moon.
Brandon, how are you?
One of us went to the moon. One of us blew up a lot of rockets on the launch pad, and one of us just sat down and watched.
Yeah.
If you want to know, watch some Kerbal Space Program with us.
Yeah, the next episode is going to be a special episode where we race to the moon on Kerbal Space Program, and it goes way better for one of us and way worse for one of us than we ever expected.
And one of us has 700 hours into the game.
Actually, it's almost 800, Taryn.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think we figured out who that was.
It's 783.3 hours.
Of course it is.
I'm almost certain that that's wrong. I'm pretty sure I left the game on for like a week and a half one time when I went on vacation somewhere. So that would be what that's about. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But still, that's a special episode going to be coming out next week. What else can we talk about before we get into the nitty-gritty shooty bang bang
well
episode?
I just learned that California had to evacuate how many people? It was something like 50,000 people. I don't know.
Is there a fire out there?
No, it was a possibly chemical explosion.
Oh shit. Okay, let's look at that. Look at that real fast.
Yeah.
Chemical explosion says Orange County.
Yes, Garden Grove. Yeah, chemical crisis, live evacuation map closure. Tens of thousands have evacuated. So it wasn't 50,000. It was tens of thousands. Evacuated. Emergency crews try to secure a tank loaded with 7,000 gallons of methanol. An aerospace plastic facility in Orange County.
Well, that rules.
Yeah.
That kind of go ahead.
On Sunday, officials announced an all-night mission to confirm the threat of the tank exploding had been eliminated. On Saturday, experts had been brought to think completely outside the box to help resolve the crisis, which involved a phenomenon known as thermal runaway reaction, where chemical generates. We kind of talked about this before on the podcast, and just different
it gets hot enough on its own that it's like a chain reaction type of.
Same thing with Chernobyl, same thing with just basically any explosions kind of.
At least this isn't radioactive.
That is true.
It's probably causes just as much cancer though if you get it on you or something.
Probably. Evacuations around the failing tank in Garden Grove included tens of thousands of residents in 6 Orange County cities: Garden Grove, Cypress, Stanton, Anaheim, and Buena Park, and Westminster. So,
well, that rules.
Mm-hmm.
Start the morning off with a goddamn bang. There'll be many more bangs to come. This kind of reminds me of when there was a big fuel tank explosion a month or two ago in a town near us.
Yep.
Except this is probably way worse because that was, I think, like gasoline or diesel, and this is some sort of
chemical. Yeah,
highly flammable chemical used in aerospace stuff. So that's hell yeah. It's used in the manufacturing of resins and plastics. Well, that rules. Brandon, any comments on the chemical explosion?
No, actually,
it wasn't an explosion. It just cracked.
Yeah.
It says.
Yeah, it was just a potential explosion.
Oh, a potential explosion. Well, I mean,
yeah. This is like when the fluorine at your work started leaking, and they were like, "No, it's fine.
No, it's fine. Just stay there. It's okay."
It's fine. It's just a forever chemical. It's okay. Breathe it in. It's good for you.
I watched a video, I think it was last weekend, about recycling and how much of it just like is scam.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
We could do a whole episode on it sometime, but
I would like to dig into recycling. I feel like there's a lot about recycling that's hard to parse through because some of it is legit, but also it's hard to tell when it is legit and when it isn't. You know what I mean?
I should say there are certain recyclings that are perfectly fine. Aluminum, for example, is perfectly fine. I think like 99% of the world's aluminum has been recycled at least like more than like 10 times. It's crazy.
Wow.
But when you talk about plastic, it's like 1% of 10% has been recycled, and that is not even close to the world. Like, it's insane. And that's been once.
I think part of the reason is because it's so easy to just make plastic.
That, but also plastic, depending on what kind of plastic it is, it can't be recycled. It just can't be broken down.
Wow. That helps too. It can only become microplastic and live in our balls.
That is true.
Fuck yeah. You guys know that? We got plastic in our balls?
Yep.
And livers. And it kind of everywhere.
And our brain, yeah.
Yeah. We're a little bit plastic. That's part of us now.
Mm-hmm.
That's rad.
That's awesome.
I feel like certain people might have more plastic in them than others.
Yeah. RFK Jr. looking at you. I hope that man's like mostly plastic.
Or just plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah, I guess plastic surgery is a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's a thing people do. Forget about that every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Used to watch Entertainment Tonight. And every now and then you'd get shocked by a plastic surgery celebrity. And it would be... But they would just be like, you know, they would be like, here's this iconic dude or woman. And now she looks like an alien.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Speaking of aliens, let's learn about the first mass shooting and how it all went down.
Nice segue.
Yeah, everybody knows it was aliens. Aliens shot these people.
Yep.
No, aliens don't actually come into this story at all, so, sadly.
I wish they did.
It would be... I do too. You know what we can imagine? We can imagine a group of aliens showing up, watching the band, and then dipping out once this dude...
Starting war with us.
Starts blasting, yeah. That would be pretty sick. All right. So, last week we talked a lot about this guy named Twigg. His last name was Twigg, of course. You know, is it me just forgetting his first name? Kind of forgot his first name. Oh man, I'm so dropping the ball.
Oh
right
God.
Now. Here we go. Gilbert. His first name was Gilbert. Fuck. Okay, yeah. So Gilbert Twigg. I wanted to call him George Twigg. It wasn't his first name wasn't anywhere in the article or in the sheet that I was looking at. It was just Twigg. So we learned about Gilbert Twigg and about his upbringing, how he kind of lived a normal life, but then kind of slowly became an incel, joined the army, got out of the army, really became an incel, moved back to this town that he kind of established himself in. Maybe possibly stalking his ex-lover who got married to another man. And now he's creeping around town at a little music venue in the center of town with a shotgun and a pistol. And some kids saw him creeping, and he yells at the kids, "Get the hell out of here. I'm about to do some big shooting, fellas. But I don't want to blast you." And they don't leave because, well, this is the first time this has really ever happened. Just no... an unmotivated shooting. So,
Yeah, you know, if someone shows up and says, "I'm going to start blasting," I'm getting the hell out of there. I'm relocating to another zip code.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if they're telling you that they're going to start blasting,
That's a lot of warning, yeah.
they're giving you an out, at least.
Yeah.
And you should probably also listen to them. You know? Do you guys hear about the one guy who got shot and killed trying to break into the White House a couple days ago?
Yep.
That happened. Do you think he told the people at the gatehouse? He was like,
I'm going to start
fixing,
shooting.
yeah, I'm going to start blasting.
I don't think
And
he probably announced his plans like that. I don't think so.
Yeah. It'd be funny if he did, though. Well, Gilbert Twigg. And this, by the way, this happened kind of in the evening, not super late at night, but there are no real streetlights in town. That's something to keep in mind. So, Gilbert Twigg stationed himself in the alley about 125 feet west of 9th and Main Street as the concert began. He also brought an express wagon full of shells, buckshot, and a nitroglycerin black powder mix. Man, things were so much cooler back in the day when you could just bring a wagon like that into town and nobody would fucking question it. You know?
Yeah.
Twigg dropped to one knee like he'd been taught in basic training. He raised his shotgun, aimed it at the bandstand. The players arranged themselves in a semicircle around their leader, Cayman. Twigg fired at Cayman, the object of his apparent ire. The shot hit a horse over its back, and the animal reared its hind legs and roared away. Dude shoots a fucking horse with a shotgun because he's like 150 feet away. He's like at the back of the crowd, and he's shooting at him with a shotgun. What a crazy man. It does the trick, though. Twigg fires again, straight at the bandstand. That shot hit old... Okay. I said old. Didn't mean to say old. That shot hit Ray Oliver. But Ray is spelled R-E. So it could be Ree Oliver. It's a weird name. Pronunciation guesses, guys. Ray, Ree.
I think it's Ray.
Ray? Could be Ray.
I want to say it's Rye.
Ooh.
Could be Ray Oliver. That might be his nickname. I'm going to go with Rye. It's probably Ray. I'll go with Rye. That shot hit Ray Oliver, the military band's drummer. Oh, fuck, the drummer. Going through his shoulder and abdomen. "I'm shot, boys," Oliver cried, and fell over, but W.H. Cayman did not hear him and shouted at the rest of the band to fucking sit down. He continued to pass out sheet music for the night's set.
Just continued to pass out sheet music. This dude's fucking blasting. He's like, we're playing this.
Dude, what's wrong with my horse and my drummer? Guys, come on, fucking lock it up. We're about to play.
Oh my god.
What is he, Roosevelt? Getting shot and giving
Yeah,
a
I
speech
know,
or
right?
something?
The Cayman guy, yeah, he's not been shot yet, but he doesn't fucking care. He either doesn't care or like,
You play through the pain.
yeah, he's like, the show must go on. So that bullet kept going, the one that shot Oliver, it kept going, passing through Clyde Wagoner's bass horn and shattering the instrument. Some dude's fucking goddamn tuba explodes. And this guy doesn't die, but he is seriously injured. But the horn's destruction finally alerted Cayman that something extraordinary was happening.
It wasn't the loud booms from the shotgun.
He's like, God damn, people are really shooting in the crowd today. This is like last week when they were shooting in the, you got to wonder how common was just shooting in the street. I feel like it was very common down in Kansas. I don't know. So every time Twigg fired, he took a step back, compensating for the shotgun's recoil. He dropped to one knee each time and fired again. 6 shots hit William Bowman, a farmer from Oxford, a city some 10 miles away, who stood in front of the Winfield National Bank, just an innocent bystander. Bog, as his friends called him, fell near the steps, the fusillade of gunfire forcing him up and then down to the ground. Oh, blood and brains pulling around what remained of his head. He died instantly. Dude blows this man's brains out, just standing in front of a bank, just hanging out. Not even the man he wants to kill. Maybe. He might have wanted to kill him. Seems like he probably had to aim at him. Nearby, Everett Ridgway took 3 shots to his back. 22-year-old Port Smith was shot in the head, the bullet lodging in his brain. He died after being transported to the Holcomb and Boyle Hospital. I hear they have great porridge there. Dawson Billiter, a 23-year-old barber, stood near the front corner of Craig's bookstore when he was hit, shots passing through his neck and bowels. He lived only a half hour, spending his last conscious minutes mumbling to those who had rushed up to him that he lived on East 10th Street. Arthur Hansford, visiting from West Virginia, took another shot in the hand. Oh, poor Arthur, taking a shot in the hand.
Hey, Arthur.
Guys, real fast before I get into the rest of the shooting and killing, where would you most like to have a shot taken? Where would you take a shot?
I don't know, probably
and
right shoulder or something.
Right shoulder. That's crazy.
I'll go right shoulder as well.
Right shoulder.
I'm left-handed, so if I lose my left-handed, so it's all fucked. I'm done.
I feel like
are you left-handed,
No,
Taryn?
I'm not left-handed, but I feel like right shoulder is probably the easiest way to go clean through without damaging a bunch.
You're talking like the outside of the shoulder, right?
Well, like
up on like where the joint is.
Well, it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, it kind of does, but like, I feel like there's no vital organs there.
Isn't there an artery that runs on that? Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe near your neck.
I might be wrong. I don't know. I thought there was an artery in your arm somewhere. Is there an artery in your arm? We don't have to look that up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And your neck and probably underneath your armpit, probably.
Yeah. I feel like the armpit would hurt so bad. That's like the worst place to get shot, I think. Just in pain-wise. I can't imagine anything feeling worse than being shot in the armpit. Maybe in the dick. Getting shot in the
I
dick.
think there's probably some other worse places.
Yeah. I would get shot. I mean, yeah, you're right. That's probably the best place. Maybe in the calf on my leg.
That would suck so bad.
It would suck a lot. It would. I don't think anywhere would be nice. To be fair, this guy gets shot in the hand. A lot of people get shot in the hand. They're fine. Maybe the hand. I'll take it in the hand.
The butt
As
would
Billiter
suck
died
as well.
in this. What's that?
The butt would suck as well.
Couldn't sit.
Yeah, it
Depends on the caliber too. 22 caliber might not be terrible, but you get something big, it'll just shatter your ass.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah.
As Billiter died on the street, Link Smith sat on the southwest corner of 9th and Manning. He had heard Twigg's first shot and began to run toward the middle of 9th, where he found his Aunt Sally Milligan. She'd seen the muzzle flash, but curiously felt no fear of the shooter. This lady's just like, oh, look at that. Extra entertainment. And also, can we just applaud the names from back then? This is like 1900, dawn of the 20th century.
Yeah.
Link Smith, Sally Milligan, Arthur Hansford. It's just great stuff. This is like out of Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
What's going on? Smith asked. I don't know, Sally replied. That's the biggest act out of the episode, I think. It probably didn't even need to be there. That's fine. Good on you, BuzzFeed. J.P. Milligan, Sally's husband and Smith's uncle, moved to the doorway of his shoe shop. Without realizing, he stood directly in front of Gilbert Twigg. Smith saw his uncle from across the street and ran toward him, momentarily forgetting Twigg was still shooting. Twigg, seeing Smith, fired a fast, deliberate shot. A few buckshot pellets passed through Smith's coat sleeve. Oh, wow, he missed. Once he reached his uncle, Link asked for a gun to take the shooter down. Milligan refused. Don't do it. Link ignored his uncle and ran upstairs where he hoped a gun might be stashed in the room of the boarders. If there was, Link didn't find one. Twigg reloaded his shotgun. At that moment, 4 men rushed down the stairs of the Old Fellows' Hall, situated just above Craig's bookstore. Its exit, next to the shoe shop, was right in Twigg's line of sight. One volley of gunfire took out 3 of the men, Sterling Race, Elmer Farnsworth, and J.B. Story. Race died only after a few minutes. Farnsworth, who owned Winfield's cigar store, lived only until 8:30 the following evening. Story took a bullet to his elbow and sighed, but the wounds were not fatal. The bullets entirely missed the fourth man, James Galloway. At this point, Twigg fired the shotgun's second barrel. He first hit Otis Carter, a janitor with the Oddfellows, who had just emerged from the stairwell. Carter took 2 shots, with the one to the temple proving to be fatal the next morning. God damn. It's getting pretty intense. A lot of people shot and dying here.
Yep.
16-year-old Roy Davis was also in the line of fire. 8 buckshot pellets pierced his neck and bowels. Earlier that day, Davis had run into Twigg as he wandered and mumbled around Island Park, carrying a shotgun. Then Twigg had pushed the boy away, threatening to shoot him if he didn't follow orders. After his second encounter with Twigg and his shotgun, Davis bled out in the street and died within minutes. Twigg stepped back, reloaded, and then fired some more. The next shot hit 3 women, Mrs. Jonathan Brooks, Elizabeth Ballard, and Florence Gregg. That's an insane name. Florence Gregg. I bet she was beautiful, though. Both Ballard and Gregg were wounded in the neck. Gregg also suffered hand and leg injuries. The shooter swung around to the south end of the bandstand. Will Moore was severely wounded from a shot to the left thigh, while Bill Couchman ended up with a pellet in his shoulder. Jim Clarkson was also hit, a pellet entering his right arm and another shot passing through his side and into his bowels. Subsequent shots hit Wilkins and Charles Thomas in their knees, Clyde Reed in his hip and kidneys, and Sam Compton in his leg. Still more men suffered serious injuries. Elmer Urey in the wrist, H.E. Williams with a broken wrist. Jake Simpson got shot in the chest. Al Shoup got shot in the leg. Artie Cutler in the foot. And John Armstrong got shot in the leg. Shout out to Jarn.
It's a weird name.
If I ever have a boy, I'll name him Jarn. Just because. Twigg could have continued shooting. He had already caused so much carnage. But then he recognized the 2 men running toward him from the other side of the intersection. He lifted his .32 revolver and aimed it at his own head. Now we go back. Remember, guys, this other guy, George Nichols, was a black man who was on the police force. Kind of the hero, possible hero of the episode, though he waited way too fucking long to blow this man away, if he did blow him away. So, say what you will. But George Nichols watched Twigg raise the revolver from his perch in the alley near 9th and Main. He began the night shift near Dauber's dry goods store 2 blocks away when he heard the first round of shots and ran toward the gunfire, ready to use the Winchester rifle in his hand or the .44 holstered to his body. At the coroner's inquest a few days later, Nichols testified he saw Twigg leaning against a telegraph pole. Nichols stopped about 40 feet from where Twigg stood. He saw Twigg fall and heard him groan loudly. Nichols continued to watch Twigg for a couple more minutes, then retreated into the alley to fetch his lantern. As he did so, he heard a single shot, much lighter than the others, implying the sound came from a .32 caliber pistol, not the shotgun. Nichols ran into an off-duty detective named Cal Ferguson. Fucking awesome name also. You could make a TV show out of that name. Toting his own shotgun. What do you guys think Cal Ferguson would do? What kind of crimes would he solve?
Ooh. Probably like homicide.
Definitely like homicide. I was thinking like surf-related crimes. He sounds like a surfer cop.
No, I'm thinking he's oh god damn. What am I thinking? He is investigating farm-related crimes.
It's cool.
Just cow-related aggressions.
Yes. Who tipped this fucking cow over?
Who put sugar in my tractors, in this guy's tractor, in the tank? God, I dropped the ball there. I'm sorry, Brandon.
That's fine. I think we're all just a little worn now.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Nichols explained what was happening to him, and the 2 men moved back to the alley going north to Friedenberg's pharmacy, through the store and into the alley toward the place where Twigg had been shooting. The two men found Twigg crouched on his hands and knees, his head on an iron pile where the alley opened on the 9th. Ferguson said he saw the wound in Twigg's head. A revolver lay by his side with 8 to 10 empty shells, cartridges, and a few loaded shells, and then a small tin wagon nearby. Twigg still held a shotgun in his arms. So it's kind of, he's still holding his shotgun, but apparently he shot himself in the head with the revolver. That's where it gets a little wishy-washy of the did he not get shot by George. Sheriff James Samuel Day and Constable Guy Marsh arrived on the scene from the south side of 9th and Main, having ducked a spray of shots by the First National Bank. They found Nichols and Ferguson standing near Gilbert Twigg's prone body. The four men carried the mortally wounded Twigg to the bandstand and placed him on the platform. As an unidentified man ran to find medical help, Twigg was formally identified by his uncle Argel. No doctor to attend to Twigg, as they were occupied with his victims, lying on the bandstand, covered with his own blood from head to foot. Gilbert Twigg expired. He fucking died, guys. Died right there. Shot himself in the head and died. Boy. Gilbert Twigg's body lay on a gurney at Axtell Funeral Home as his uncle tried to find a church to administer the funeral and a cemetery to bury him. It turns out it's kind of hard to do that when the person you're trying to get to bury and have a funeral was just killed like 5% of the town.
Yeah.
People don't want to mess with that. But despite much resistance and some outright refusals, Twigg did have a funeral attended by Argel, Chance Wells, and a handful of others. Now, guys, if you wanted to go visit it, you could. You could leave right now. We can make it there in like 7 hours. It's summer vacation. Maybe this will be a thing we do. Brandon, if you're down one day in the middle of the week, just take off work, drive to fucking Kansas with me and my daughter.
We'll go see a murderer's grave, sure.
Yeah, dude.
It's wild.
Today, Twigg's burial site is subject to dispute. I guess we might not be able to. A military headstone for Sergeant G.A. Twigg stands on the north end of what's now known as Union Graham Cemetery in Winfield. But a yellow flag further south in Highland Cemetery is believed to mark where Twigg is truly buried. So we'll have to make 2 stops in town. But the morning after the massacre, Winfield police officers searched Twigg's room at the boarding house on the Thompson block of 7th Street. They found yet more ammunition in a trunk, along with a note. Remember last week, Taryn, when you asked about a manifesto? Mm-hmm. Or Max asked about that?
No, I did, yeah.
Well, here it is. So, while written with steady penmanship, the note's tone was far removed from the lucid sadness of Twigg's 1902 letter to his friend Chance Wells. Remember that letter? He was kind of lamented the fact that Twigg himself never got married and was like, I hope you're happy, man. You got it all. You're married to this beautiful lady, the whole thing. So Twigg blamed everyone other than himself for his problems. True incel behavior. Claiming he did not and most likely never will know the real cause of being treated in the manner in which I have been treated. It's probably because you're a fucking crazy, tiny man, dude. You're the type of man that'll just shoot up a town. His tone is echoed by Charles Whitman's suicide note. Shout out to Charles Whitman. Found after Whitman killed 16 people in 1966. So this guy, Twigg, is still, he inspired people for generations. And what Charles Whitman wrote, he says, I don't really understand myself these days. I am supposed to be an average, reasonable, and intelligent young man. However, lately, I have been a victim of many unusual and irrational thoughts. And I will say, if Whitman hadn't killed somebody, or killed 16 people in 1966, that's kind of a bar. You put that in a book, that's beautiful. So here goes what Twigg says. You know that you drove me from place to place in the same manner and forced me to give up a neat little sum of my hard-earned money to railroad companies' money that I went through the danger of war and diseases, both in Cuba and in the Philippines to get. Twigg continued in rambling, paranoid, petulant, and vengeful fashion. You also know that you watched my mail, and after finding out my friends and correspondence, you told them some kind of a story about me that caused every one of them to drop me and turn me down cold. The paranoia built to a crescendo in the closing paragraph. Quote, you may think your theory is all right, but if common sense does not teach you, experience will. Your brain may be all right in quality, but there may be a chance for them to be lacking in quantity. I believe this as all I have to say, so adios. And that's the end of his ramblings. The dude, I think, just went crazy. Had some sort of breakdown. Go ahead.
So I looked at a photo of him, and it's in black and white. However, judging, this is kind of like psychoanalyzing just a little bit, but judging by his behavior and his like manifesto and the way he kind of acts like with a chip on his shoulder, you can't really tell in the photo, but I think it's classic redhead. I think he's a classic redhead person that has.
He might be okay. You might be right. He might be redheaded. I never said. Oh boy, he's not bad looking though. Like I think he was just like insufferable to be around. He looks, because he's all right.
He's either like a redhead or like a the youngest child, where he's just nobody like gets to listen to him, and he's just
he's just tired of being He doesn't look like the type of man that would kill 12 people, but he also does look like that type of man.
Yeah. He's got that weird stare.
Yep.
But
crazy. So adios is what he says in his note. Coroner Cooper held his inquest Friday evening. Sheriff Day, Argel Twigg, and others testified to what they saw and heard the night before. Night watchman George Nichols told the inquest he heard Gilbert Twigg's final shot and found him dying in the alley of a self-inflicted wound. When testimony concluded, the jury ruled that Twigg's death was the result of a suicide from a .32 caliber shot to the head. For more than a century, the people of Winfield grew up believing Nichols played a more active role in Twigg's death. That rumor cast Nichols as a ready-made hero who ended the town's most incomprehensible nightmare, but was forced to deny his role because it was considered too dangerous for a black man to kill a white man, even justifiably. Because you got to think, he comes out and is like, yeah, I shot the white boy. He was killing everybody. And people, maybe they shift the blame to the black guy. I don't know.
Yep. Crazy times back then.
Yeah. If you ever talk with a relative who was like, oh, black people had it fine back in the day.
They did not.
They actually enjoyed being treated differently because it meant they could be themselves. No, dude, this guy couldn't. This guy had to lie about whether he ended a mass killer.
Yeah.
And just because if he went to trial, they would vote him guilty on principle. So Robert P. Davis, who studied the massacre extensively, speculated further. Other than the coroner's inquest, no other investigation of the episode seems to have been conducted, end quote. Davis wrote in 2001. So this guy is a later investigator. He's kind of speculating on whether or not he was killed by George Nichols or not. So Davis wrote in 2001, Twigg was found with a wound in his head. Was it a .32 caliber close range wound surrounded by powder burns, or was it a .44 caliber wound fired from a distance? Nichols was carrying both his Winchester rifle and a .44 caliber revolver. Maybe the wound was from some different sized weapon, fired from an alternate distance. No note of this has ever come to light. So it's up in the air.
Yep.
You can believe what you want to believe. I believe, just because it seems cooler, George Nichols was the hero here. Blasted Twigg in the head. The revolver was beside him, but he was, grabbing a shotgun. I don't know, though. We don't have crime scene photos. We could have. They had cameras back then.
I don't know how well documented crime scenes were back in those days, too.
Massively documented. Did you know the first crime scene photo was a Jack the Ripper victim?
Did not know that.
Yeah, the very first one. And it's horrifying. It's one of the most terrifying photos you'll ever see. Look it up, if. Not a great one. We're not going to put that in the YouTube VOD.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not.
Nichols. I mean, Brandon, if you insist, we can throw it up there. It's pretty bad, though. There might be photos of this buried in some archive somewhere. Probably not in the internet. So Nichols denied the rumor almost as soon as it began circulating. Its origin was a wire report only a few hours after the massacre, stating Nichols confronted Twigg and fired a bullet into his head. But before life was extinct, the demented man drew a revolver from his pocket and fired a shot into his own. Hindsight and greater understanding of the rush of inaccurate conflicting statements in the early reports of modern-day mass shootings lend credence to something similar happening here. Rather than an early statement of fact in need of quashing, one other point buttresses the truth of Nichols' vociferous man. This is fucking crazy. Crazy words being used here. Vociferous denials and silences the rumor mongers. His shooting 17 years after Twigg's massacre of the man who killed a fellow police officer, and the generally positive media coverage and attention toward Nichols for this justifiable homicide. BuzzFeed really trying to get all the money they can. They're paid by the word over there. So when George Nichols died in 1944, his obituary quoted an unnamed friend as reflecting the general esteem among the town of Winfield. He says, "If everyone was as good as George, we wouldn't need a police force." George Nichols was buried only 100 yards away from Twigg's headstone. Now, we better understand post-Columbine the sense of alienation and disenfranchisement that may lead a subset of young white men to mass murder. Conversely, we also understand how other young people take in these crimes, their immediate visceral brutality, and they fall under a spell that mimics the propagation of a lethal virus. The Winfield Massacre in August 1903 prompted extensive coverage by the local and state papers. Without that coverage, the story would have been entirely lost to history, because corroborating legal records, such as the coroner's inquest or police files, were destroyed decades ago, likely by fire or flood, as those things often are. The limits of technology, to telegrams and cables and the expensive telephone call or two, confined much coverage of Gilbert Twigg's awful crimes within the borders of Kansas. The town marked anniversaries with survivor accounts in the Courier and Free Press, though the focus was entirely on the tragedy itself, never about other shootings or gun control. Then greater massacres in the form of world wars crowded out those memories. When Howard Unruh, another former serviceman, shot and killed 12 of his neighbors on September 6th, 1949 in Camden, New Jersey. By the way, this is the guy, when you look up the first mass shooting, this is the guy that comes up, even though Gilbert Twigg did it, 46 years before. Mm-hmm. Gilbert Twigg's name popped up anew on the wire services. This is what the wire service says. "Camden slain stirs old memory," read the Associated Press headline the following day on a 3-paragraph brief description how old-time residents recalled a similar massacre. A pithier UPI story tailed the death toll and said Unruh's massacre had topped Twigg's. So Howard Unruh is another kind of very similar thing. The dude goes to World War II, comes back demented and just out of it, kind of gets more and more paranoid, winds up killing 12 people. I don't know the full story there. That might be another thing we can dig into. So, afterward, Twigg's name and his crime. So after Howard, Twigg kind of disappears. Howard Unruh tops, the killing, the death toll, and he's sort of taken as the really the first mass killer. And it seems like there's kind of a slew of mass killings after that. A lot of people coming back from the war, Korea, World War II, things like that. Just fucked up, not able to get the help that they need. So afterward, Twigg's name and his crime barely rated national attention. Cultural memory still includes Unruh on occasion and goes no further back. Historical research on mass shootings is scant because the darkness and the tragedy of the crimes overwhelm the rational pursuit of correlations and casualties. That something so modern was, in fact, happening more than a century ago means reckoning with greater societal problems instead of the individual ills of any one perpetrator. It's a discomforting thought. So, fucking Sarah Weinman dropping bars. She was the writer of the BuzzFeed article where I pulled a lot of this from. Now, folks, Tara and Brandon, ask yourselves right now, do you feel any better knowing that all the horrible stuff that happens today is just like a systemic cancer that has been a part of society for at least a century?
In some ways, yes, and in other ways, no.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of nice when you can look back and be like, wow, we really haven't
Nothing's changed
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did pull up another article of something kind of interesting that's really adjacent. But go ahead.
Oh, let me finish this here. Actually, you go ahead. I mean, let me finish this ending monologue here, and then we can get into other things. So, I think the default human is not one of hatred or paranoia. Rather, it is one who is living their lives on the edge of help, unable to be seen or reached, who fall victim to these ailments. So, Twigg, guys, was he the first incel? Probably not. I'm sure there were a lot of others. He might have been the first one to kill people. But I do think he could have been helped if he had someone around that could just be like, no, knock it off.
You think ChatGPT could have helped him?
Dude, a ChatGPT girlfriend could have fixed this guy. He could have fucking, ChatGPT or just a nice homie, a phone call. A phone call might have taken this guy back.
Yep.
Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, more and more people disappear over that edge of darkness. And it happens more often, and they do things that cannot be undone. So, listeners, I tell you right now, talk to your friends.
And a therapist.
Tell them you love them. Get a therapist. But talk to your friends, the ones that you haven't seen in a long time, the ones that you haven't talked to. It might save them, and if you don't, you might go on to kill a bunch of people.
So, is that why you talk to me? Is your word I'm going to kill people?
Not people, Brandon, just yourself. I don't want you to kill yourself. But also, I do love you.
Should we have the number up on the screen for help?
188. Just do it. That's the Nike hotline.
No.
Yeah.
There goes our Nike sponsorship.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking damn it. Taryn, what was the article that you wanted to pull up?
Okay, so a lawsuit accuses ChatGPT of helping gunmen plan FSU mass shooting. That's why I asked if ChatGPT.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about that because, I forgot about that stuff. ChatGPT or other AI chatbots, sometimes they're like, yeah, just do it. You can do it. I know you can.
Yeah.
Like, there was that one that this kid was like in a relationship with, like, it was like a sex bot type of thing. And he was like, I sometimes think about killing myself, but I don't think I could go through with it. And the chatbot was like, no, don't be talking like that.
You can do it.
You can do it. You fucking believe in yourself, man. You can definitely kill yourself. That's just the same thing. Gilbert Twigg might have killed way more people.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's a great point.
This article is from PBS.org. The widow of a man killed last year's mass shooting at Florida State University is suing ChatGPT maker OpenAI, blaming the company artificial intelligence chatbot for giving advice on how to carry out the rampage. The lawsuit comes after the state authorities disclosed ChatGPT gave information to the shooter about time and location to maximize victims on campus. as well as the type of gun and ammunition to use. Authorities says he was told about the attack and can get more media attention if children are involved.
No. ChatGPT, come on, man. You can't say that. Who needs that newest edition of Claude for advanced AI targeting when you can just ask ChatGPT when the best time to shoot up a university would be?
So,
my God.
I don't know. It kind of almost frustrates me that people are that lazy now with their mass shootings. They're using fucking AI.
Yeah, fucking put in the work. You gotta hang out. You gotta act all weird for a
case
while.
The place
first.
at least.
Yeah, you gotta case the place. You gotta mutter under your breath. Come on.
You gotta write a manifesto by hand. You can't be having ChatGPT do it.
I bet the fucking guy probably was like, ChatGPT, write a manifesto. You know, come on.
Anyways,
be lazy.
This is a quote. OpenAI knew this would happen. It happened before, and it was only a matter of time it would happen again. Said Vanda Joshi, whose husband Tyru Chaba was one of the people killed in the statement Monday. And OpenAI denied any wrongdoing to this terrible crime. In this case, ChatGPT, this quote. In this case, ChatGPT provided factual responses to questions with information that could have found broadly across public sources on the internet and did not encourage or promote illegal or harmful activity, said
I don't know.
Drew Puscateri, a spokesperson for the company, said in an email to the Associated Press.
The guy was basically like, it's not our fault that it knows when the best time to shoot up a college is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he was like, yeah, the guy could have just Googled it and it would have got the same thing. But it's also like, it Google's also, they have the AI thing. So,
yeah. So
I don't know.
Six people were also wounded in the April 2025 shooting in Tallahassee when the alleged gunman Phoenix Eichner walked out of a campus building in green spaces where firing a handgun. It took place on a weekday just before lunchtime near school student union, which was food and shops. The lawyer says Eicher, a Florida State student, asked ChatGPT about the busiest time there. So, yeah, pretty bad.
All hail the AI overlords.
Yeah.
That's what I say. That's man, it's really upsetting. Speaking of upsetting, there was another mass shooting just a day or so ago. I don't have an article pulled up. It's still kind of developing. The mass shooting from last week at the mosque, that's still developing too. We don't know much about that. But they happen so often.
Yeah.
They happen so damn
The
often.
most recent one was Chicago, I think. It was mass shooting in Chicago on Sunday, May 24th. It left 4 teenagers injured, as authorities said, just days after city officials pleaded for the public's help to curb violence ahead of the summer. Just after 3 a.m. local time, police officers were nearby when they heard gunfire in a residential area of Little Village neighborhood on the city's southwest side, according to the Chicago Police Department statement. Officers found 4 teens with gunshot wounds at the scene. Those injuries included an 18-year-old woman, a 16-year-old girl, a 14-year-old boy, and a 16-year-old girl. Police said all 4 were taken to the Mount Sinai Hospital, where the police described them as listed in good condition. So that's good.
So they lived, at least. But
no arrest has been made.
They were still shot. Some dude just rolled up on 4 teenagers and shot them down, and they were,
Yeah, no arrest has been made, and detectives are still investigating the shooting. So that's the most recent one?
Yeah. Do you think they used ChatGPT? They were like, where can I just find 4 kids right now?
Maybe, but
And
given the
ChatGPT
fact that
was
it was
like-
at like 3 a.m. or whatever I said, it's probably not if they're trying to do maximum damage, I would say.
Yeah, that might be more of like a targeted mass shooting.
Yeah,
That there's some mass shootings that are just
targeted
or, more like focused on things. And then there's the Gilbert Twigs where they just show up and start blasting, which is how a lot of them go.
That is true.
But fellas, I think that's where we're gonna end this podcast.
I have one more quote.
You have one more.
Well,
you have one more quote.
It's still back to the OpenAI one.
Oh sure.
So this same case, I just scrolled down a little bit further and it said OpenAI put their profits above our safety and killed my husband. They need to be responsible for another family that's going through this. Joshi said in a statement released to Warrior. OpenAI is currently valued at $852 billion.
Yeah, I mean, the least they could do is just give a little bit of that money to to some of the victims of their stuff.
Yeah. So I wanted to say that out
Also,
there.
that money, it's just coming from other AI companies and
data
things like
centers
that.
and
They're not
Microsoft,
generating
it's
that
insane.
money. They're worth that much.
Nvidia, it's a slush fund with tech companies. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's a big Ponzi scheme. Brandon, how do you feel about a Ponzi scheme? You feel like a Ponzi scheme?
I actually ran a few of those back in the day.
Nice.
Proud of you.
It's awesome.
I love it.
I love it.
Well, everybody, that was the Bitter Third podcast. We picked up the energy. We got it. We got it done. We wrote our manifesto, and we sent it off into the universe.
With ChatGPT.
I've been Matt. Yeah, we wrote it with ChatGPT. No, we're not fucking lazy. We copied it from BuzzFeed. That's what we do. Thank you, BuzzFeed, Sarah Weinman. I think that was her name. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Taryn.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
That was awesome. We'll be back next week with a Race to the Moon and Kerbal Space Program. Look out for that. Not next week. Yes, next week. Goodbye.
Bye.